Hey, what's going on YouTube subscribers and new listeners who are watching KBTV when Knowledge was born. And I'm King David. Salutations and greetings. How y'all doing? Um, Jumping right back into where we left off on Astrology Part 2. We're just going to add this to Part 3 where we were talking about the planets. Let's go ahead and jump right back into it. So let's start with the sun. Okay. And remember in Astrology 2, Part 2, where we're talking about personal planets, social planets, and collective planets. All right. So let's go ahead and start with the sun. And let's start with the symbol. All right. That's the symbol for the sun. Okay. Sun rules Leo. Leo's over here. Okay. The sun rules Leo. Okay. In psychology, it means I am. Planet meaning and description. The sun is the most important planet in your chart. It is your ego, your motivation, your interests, your basic likes and dislikes, your vitality, and how you express and identify yourself. The sun is connected to the masculine and your father. Okay? So, like I talked about in Part 2, the duality of things, masculine, feminine, all right, good, evil. So the sun is the father, all right? It is the light. It is the masculine. It's the motivator. Okay, and it rules Leo. So if you're a Leo, that's your ruling planet, is the sun. All right. Moving on to the moon. The moon rules Cancer. All right. The moon rules Cancer, which is in psychology terms, I feel. Okay. So Leo was I am, and sun rules Leo. The moon rules Cancer. I feel, because you're dealing with the emotional state. Remember, Cancer is a water element, so you're dealing with emotions. Okay. The moon governs your emotional attachments. It represents your intuition, your instincts, your habits, your conscious mind, and what makes you feel comfortable and secure. It oversees how you express your emotions and share yourself with others, especially when you react without taking time to think things over first. The moon is associated with your mother, home, family, your childhood, and how you like to decorate your home. The moon governs the emotions you try to keep hidden, such as jealousy, anger, and fear. It is also the sensual side of you that shows great joy and pleasure. Because the moon rules things you tend to keep hidden. Your moon sign is usually only visible to those who are closest to you. Okay? So that's the moon. Moving on to Mercury. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Okay, notice that Virgo is the only female in the zodiac chart. All right, and is ruled by Mercury, which is, I think. All right, so Mercury is of the mind. The planet is of the intellect. So psychology terms, I think. Planet means description. Planet meanings and description. Mercury is about your communication style, how you think, how you solve problems, how you learn, what you're curious about, and some of your general interests. In your natal chart, Mercury is either the same as your sign or the sign immediately before or after your sun sign. If you were born when Mercury was in retrograde, you are intuitive, excuse me. You are intuitive and introspective. You are a thinker, someone who tends to think things through before speaking. If you were born when Mercury was stationary, you're very communicative and are constantly thinking. All right. So that's Gemini and Virgo. Mercury rules Virgo and Gemini. Now, next planet will be Venus. Okay, Venus rules Taurus and Libra, or Libra. All right. Represents love. Venus governs your romantic relationships, who you attract, how you attract them, your social skills, how affectionate you are, what you consider beautiful, what you want in a partner, and how you interact with others. It also oversees money, both spending and receiving. Venus is a planet of luck and good fortune, but not as much as Jupiter. It is always found in the same sign as your sun, or the two signs directly before or after. All right, so that's Taurus and Virgo. Taurus and Libra, which is love, romantic relationship. Now moving on to planet Mars. And that rules Aries. And the psychology term for that is act. Mars is about your motivation, your aggression, your confidence, your inner drive, your physical strength, stamina, what you want to achieve, where you put your energy, and how much of a risk taker you are. Mars is what gets you up and going every day. It is how you express your anger. It is also your sex drive and what you desire for and give in a sexual relationship. Okay, so that's Aries. All right, moving on. So Venus rules Taurus and Libra, and Mars rules Aries. Now moving on to Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. I'm just going to put Cap. Upper Capricorn. The term, psychology term for that is I achieve. Saturn describes your ambition in life, your major life lessons, and your feelings of inadequacy. Saturn is about restrictions, limitations, boundaries, safety. It's about hard work and getting what you deserve. Saturn is the planet of overseeing your career, business, and wealth. Even if its placement in your chart doesn't directly affect your career, it will still show what you want to be known for and what you want to achieve. So that's Saturn rules Capricorn. All right. Moving on to Uranus. Uranus, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. And Aquarius is about evolve. Uranus governs where you seek freedom, where you're unconventional, where you stand out, what makes you rebel, where you do the unexpected, and where you find change. Uranus is about sudden change, such as unexpected opportunity appearing out of the blue. It also involves events that happen in an instant, such as accidents or love at first sight. All right, let's go to Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces. Pisces is about dream. Neptune governs what inspires you and where you're easily deceived. It's about illusion, confusion, imagination, and creativity. Neptune can be elusive and hard to tie down. It's the areas where you see what you thought was real isn't, and what you thought wasn't real is. It's like a blind spot where you don't see something until later, but you probably needed to see it from the very beginning. So that's Neptune. Pluto. Pluto rules Scorpio. Right, and Scorpio, Pluto is about empowered. Pluto represents where you feel powerless, where you want to take charge and feel more powerful, and where you experience great change. It is about the big events in your life and getting rid of the old to make way for the new. All right, so that's what Pluto is, the ruling planet of Scorpio. All right, now moving on to the four horsemen. I want to talk about that in the last video, but we'll talk about it in this one. The four horsemen of the apocalypse, all right, which they talk about a lot, is when the sun because the sun goes through a different phase during the day. Just like how I talked about in Astrology Part 2, the sun goes through a waxing and waning cycle during the year. All right, it also goes through a cycle during the day. So in the morning at zero ascension, when the sun is rising at the horizon at zero ascension, the sun is Horus at that time. And it's radiating radiation, it's giving off energy of radiation, it's radiating. Okay? When Horus is traveling and it gets to the top of Tropic of Cancer, okay, which is mid-noon, that's electrical energy being given off. The moon gives off magnetic energy, the sun gives off electrical energy, okay? And at that time, at 12 o'clock noon, that's when sun is raw, okay? So in the morning, you get Horus. In the afternoon, you get raw. In the evening, when the sun sets, you get set, okay? And this is where the four horsemen comes in, because in the morning, if you pay attention and look at that light, it's a pale light. Okay, so that's behold a pale horse in the morning. Okay, afternoon, green horse. Okay, when the sun starts to fall and evening comes, if you pay attention to the sky, it's a dawn red. It's dawn. It's reddish. Okay, that's the red horse. And then when night falls, when night comes, that's the black horse. All right. So the sun is when it's traveling through the zodiac during the day, going through its degrees. Okay, it's a different light from the AM to the afternoon to the PM to the night. Even the night sky gives off a light. The stars give us light, and the carbon that's in between the stars, which is the black stuff you see in the sky, is carbon. All right. So that's the four horsemen. Okay. Remember when I talk about my video, Devil versus God, we're talking about positive and negative energy. Understand the duality of the things, the polarity. All right. So when we're talking about nighttime, we're not talking about bad energy. All right. It's not bad. It's good light. Okay. It's just that when things get dark, that's when, like when you're in a dark place, you're in an ignorant place. When you're ignorant, you're in the dark. When you're of knowledge and you become spiritual, you're in light. You're in the light. You're walking in the light. And the light from within is opening up. All right. So as above, so below. All right. So and so Lucifer is not the devil. Okay. Lucifer is the light barrier. I want people to understand the difference. Okay. So you got Horus in the morning, radiating that radiation, and then you got Ra, giving off that electrical radiation. Energy, electrical energy. Then you got Set. Okay. When the sun sets, because in Egyptian, Set means Lord of Chaos. All right. And what is the sun doing when the sun set? It is falling from grace, bound, only to be reborn again at the horizon. All right. So that's the four horsemen of the apocalypse. All right. You already know the degrees. Here's the planets that we discussed. All right. Lucifer is the light barrier, not the devil. And that's it for part 3. We will go in deeper on part 4. And until we meet again, te veo luego, continuum in dia. Peace.